Welcome back to America Decides. Latino activists are calling for a federal investigation into a series of raids conducted by the Texas Attorney General's office in an effort to investigate allegations of voting improprieties. AG Ken Paxton's office said these undercover operations are happening in response to allegations that surfaced that accuse some organizations of Texas of possibly unlawfully registering non-citizens or engaging in ballot harvesting. But the League of United Latin American Citizens, or LULAC, is denouncing the raids as, quote, point-blank voter intimidation. Juan Proaño joins me now. He is the CEO of LULAC. Juan, it's great to see you. Describe what happened in these raids and what raises the highest level of concern for your organization.
Good evening, Mr. Garrett. What we heard on Thursday was very concerning to us. On Tuesday morning at 6 a.m., Lydia Martinez, a 35-year member of LULAC, was served with a search warrant. 7 to 8 police officers entered her home. They interrogated her for over 3 hours, looking for cell phones, computers, documentation relative to her voter registration efforts in San Antonio.
And what is the source of the information that led the Attorney General's office to take these actions, so far as you can tell?
There are a couple of different narratives that we're hearing, but essentially he's saying that he has started this election integrity investigation over 2 years ago. It seems like it basically goes back to a Republican candidate who lost and basically reported, voter harvesting as the result of that. There was no evidence that was provided at all whatsoever.
So these raids occurred because subpoenas were issued, and you're still trying to find out what the source material or the evidentiary basis of those subpoenas was. Is that correct?
That's correct. There have been, at least from what we can tell, about 5 different subpoenas issued as of last Tuesday. Unfortunately, it took us about 48 hours to learn of this because the victims in this particular case were told not to talk to anyone about it. They were left without cell phones, without computers. In our case, Lydia Martinez, without her appointment book, which she basically uses to track all of her doctor's appointments, prescription medicine, no way to actually even contact her family. She actually had to drive to a neighbor's home to get help reconnecting with her family.
Has there been any effort to obtain a judicial injunction on this activity?
One of the defendants, Manuel Medina, actually has. So he has a lawyer, and he has filed an injunction to stop the search of all the devices that essentially were seized during that raid. But we're working with our LULAC members to ensure that they also have legal protection and legal counsel as well.
When the Attorney General's office says, as it did in the announcement of this is just a matter of making sure that voting is legal and proper in Texas, when you hear that, what about that sounds intimidating to your organization? Or is it the way the raids were conducted?
It's not just the way that the raids were conducted. This is a pattern that the Attorney General Paxton has actually been pursuing for some time. In early June, he went after the Catholic Charities of Rio Grande Valley, a highly esteemed organization that provides support for immigrants legally in the United States. In July, he went after the Annunciation House, which is a refugee home for migrants as well. 2 weeks ago, he went after over 24 Latino nonprofit organizations that are basically serving the community. They act as the social safety net when the federal government cannot provide for these families. And just last week, he went after community leaders. So our big surprise was essentially that he's gone beyond the pale. He's going after individuals, LULAC members, Latino leaders, civic leaders, essentially in their community that are doing what they should be doing, which is engaging Latinos who are eligible to vote in these elections.
Juan, does it tell you anything about the state of play of Texas politically from the vantage point of Republicans that this activity is taking on prominence in the headlines? And how do you believe not only your organization, but those sympathetic with it in Texas are likely to respond?
There's been a huge shift in Texas, right? Today, As it stands, there are 12.1 million Hispanics in Texas. That's 39% of the population in the state of Texas. Latinos actually outnumber non-Hispanic whites in the state of Texas. And when you account for Hispanic, African American, Asian Americans, you're talking about 58% of the population of Texas are minorities. Texas is now a majority minority state, and Republicans in control are afraid that they will exercise their vote and they will vote them out of office.
Do you believe Texas in the presidential election is actually in play?
There are certain specific districts that are absolutely in play, right? And so one of those search warrants was actually on a candidate that's actually running in District 60, I believe. And so there is absolutely no question that this is a voter intimidation tactic. It is an effort to threaten our community activists, our community leaders, and to also chill the Latino vote. We are writing a letter and have written a letter, delivered a letter to the Assistant Attorney General, Kristen Clark, who's in charge of the Civil Rights Division, and we're demanding an investigation.
Juan Proaño of LULAC, we thank you very much for your time.